Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the Merkava Mk.2D. This is the second Israeli premium tank that I want to present to you, and it is the battle rating 9.0 rank 6 medium tank that is your potentially higher price ticket into the upcoming beta of the Israeli ground forces, which will most likely start next patch. After the M51, I already thought, well, maybe I can tolerate the Merkava's gameplay and maybe I can say something nice about it. And there is indeed two things that I like when playing this tank. First of all, the camo and the look of the tank, and then the fact that in today's playthrough for this battle rating I didn't encounter a single night battle. And that was nice, and that's about it. So what you basically have is a slightly faster shot-call dalet, but just at a higher battle rating. And this is when you look at the gun. And yeah, the gun might be the best thing about this tank. Maybe the sheer amount of machine guns, which might blind an enemy or also can kill a helicopter maybe a bit faster by the sheer volume of fire. So this tank has the awful combination of being slow in comparison and having no armor effectively versus the majority of tanks that it fights. And that is just not a good thing. Let's start with the mobility. Top speed is 54 km per hour forwards and 10 backwards. You have neutral steering, but what you're missing is the grunt of the engine. Despite having 1,000 or nearly 1,000 horsepower, 963 to be precise, you are weighing 63 tons. So that is somewhere in the region of 15 to 16 horsepower per ton. A lot of other main battle tanks at around this region of battle rating have 20, even 25-ish. Think about the XM1, for instance, that is close to 30. And you basically have the same gun, the 105mm Sharir, and you have the same ammunition as the shot-call dalet, just as I said, at a higher battle rating. That is not what I like to see. And the armor is weak, so it's cast homogeneous armor everywhere. Upper glaze is 60mm, lower glaze is 90mm. Some add-on plates, somewhere thinner, somewhere thicker. The turret has some nice angling, but it's all relatively thin, and it's a mixture of composite screen and then rolled homogeneous armor and then cast armor around the gun mantlet. It's 100mm well sloped. The X-ray says something about internal rolled homogeneous armors with a exterior fuel tank in the front, together with a transmission and an engine and another rolled homogeneous armor plate before the turret crew. That is kind of the trademark of the Merkava, where it gets its survivability from. And the huge problem that we have in War Thunder, the majority of people just blast through it with APFSDS, not just setting you on fire, killing your mobility, but also then still killing the turret crew and blowing up your ammunition, which is in the back of the hull. And you also have a rear mounted turret. Another thing is about the turret side armor. There is a lot of composite screens and internal cast homogeneous spaced armor, etc. And the outer hull is also then composite screen and up to 65mm with a thick turret ring. But it's modeled as 0mm. So when you then fire up the penetration map of this tank, which is a feature in War Thunder that maybe some of you might not be aware, it can easily be penned by its own hash, by its own heat, and by its own APFSDS, whereas then the APFSDS goes, as I just said, through the entirety of the tank. Yes, sure, APHE gets absorbed in the front, and that might give you a little bit of a surprise factor versus APHE tanks, but there are not that many around anymore at this battle rating, and when you fight 10.0s, this tank just has no chance. And I would hang myself if I really would spend $60 to get this tank and then having to play it in order to grind tanks, get the civilians to afford them, train my crew in hundreds and hundreds of battles. That is just nasty. The only advantage right now in this patch would be, just like with the M51, that you can spawn this tank 3 times without using any sort of backups, and as long as you have enough spawn points and you have somewhat of a lineup with the also existing premium A4E. So you have there also in the tech tree a lot more planes that also you can get. Voiture 2A, Voiture 2N, then also the Mystère 4A, the A4H, the A4E early, the Sambad. You know, there are quite a lot of planes that are in that battle rating region, but to be honest, I don't know. This tank by itself is just not enjoyable to play. And also then I had a lot of misfortune with the AP FSDS round. Let's quickly talk about the ammunition, shall we? So you have the standard Western 400mm Heat FS round, the M152. You also have the Western standard M156 hash round. Then you also have a smoke round and the M111 AP FSDS, which has a muzzle velocity of 1,455 meters per second, 337 millimeters at 0 degrees angles of attack of penetration, 195 millimeters at 60 degrees angles of attack. You have an artillery strike, a laser warning receiver, you have thermal imaging, a laser rangefinder, and some good magnification on the scope or the gunner's view. That's all nice. And you also have 3 sources of smoke. As I mentioned, the M416 smoke rounds, then the ESS, and also smoke grenades with quite a lot of charges. So you have overall smoke grenade launcher times 30, and the first 2 launches are complete smoke screens with 6 charges each. So the tank is filled with a lot of technical stuff. I'll give it that. But it just is not enough, because most of the time you're coming around the corner and somebody shoots at you and you shoot back. So scenes like that are what just gets me a little bit not so happy about this tank. If you look where the tank gets penned, when you look at how the shrapnel works against you all the time, and it's very rare that I survived a shot in the first place. Scenes like that are also all too common. If you look quite closely, there was another Centauro with that guy from just a few meters more to the left that I didn't see, and he goes straight through the entirety of the tank with its AP FSDS. And we're not talking here about a monstrously strong AP FSDS, just the Joe average AP FSDS. And that is the meta that you're fighting. It's not that you are in any way, shape or form special, and you're also not a Joe average tank that is enjoyable to play. So this is where I just don't find many nice things to say about this tank, and this is why I should be a bit more cautious with what I promise to feature. But this is the last new tank that I wanted to present, so after this video we will have more nice stuff to talk about. Ships, planes, tanks as we desire, and so you can leave that in the comment section down below, what you really like, what you want to see me. I saw the poll, I saw what you voted for. In maybe something like 2 months I might consider some live streams, just chill and kill with battleships, you know, just to get things started. Maybe that will be a thing, we shall see. So, Merkava, do I recommend it? I'd rather wait. We have to see if the Israeli ground forces tech tree will be worth it in the first place to begin with, and it's just too much gambling with the tank's current performance. I don't know if the armor is correctly modeled, I don't know if this is historically accurate, if it is balanced or not, I shall doubt. But yeah, now let's see why it's so easy for everybody to pen this tank, whereas it has the reputation of being quite survivable, but then again, it's War Thunder, and people still believe that angling in the Tiger works. So those are the protection analysis penetration maps, and you can see this tank is lightly protected at best. And that's it from me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I still hope that you enjoyed this video. If you made it that far, why not give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to see more, and we shall see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.